Good morning, everyone. My name is Kostyantyn Steblovskyy. I'm the Business Development Director for AxxonSoft. I would like to welcome you to our webinar, AI Advantages of Integrated Powered Security Systems. Please grab a coffee and let us know how you're all doing today in the morning. Where are you joining us from? And we will start in around 3-4 minutes. Just wait a few minutes until more people join, and then we can start. A quick hello to Denmark, Dubai, and Pakistan. Hello to everyone joining us today. Let us know where are you from. I see that for a lot of people it's already an afternoon and not the morning. But thank you very much for joining us, of course. Let's take another couple of minutes. Keep on writing your messages. Keep on telling us where are you from. It's always great to hear that. And we will start in a couple of minutes. I see a lot of countries joining us today. I see Morocco, Germany, Portugal, Slovenia, Hungary, Egypt, more Denmark. I see a lot of our partners already joining as well today, so that is great. Lithuania as well, that is very amazing. I really love those events where we have a lot of people from different points of the world joining us. Hello from India, Australia, of course. We have actually one of our partners who is presenting today is from Australia. So that is great. Bulgaria, perfect. It's very great. I say we start slowly with the presentation. So today we're going to discuss advantages of integrated AI-powered security systems. And I have great partners joining us today. We have Intel, Seagate, and Mobotix. So I would like to welcome with me today Ediz Altun, who is joining basically from Intel. He is IOTG Partner Sales Manager, Video and Safe Cities, and he will be talking about HAI Vision Acceleration Solution. It is just a couple of words from you.
Thank you, Kostyantyn. Hello, everyone. Looking forward to my presentation and your questions. So I hope you will enjoy our show today. Thanks again for joining.
Perfect. Next in line will be Stephen Jones, who is the EMEA Business Development Lead for Video Surveillance segment, and he will be talking about how we can rethink data and addressing, of course, the growing needs of storage. Stephen?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, good morning and good afternoon, everybody. So yeah, thanks for attending, and thanks to AxxonSoft for arranging the event. Really looking to presenting, and hopefully it'll be quite an interactive event with lots of Q&A at the end. So yeah, really looking forward to it. Thank you.
Sounds great. And last but not least, Justin Hallarsis, he's actually joining us from Australia. He is a part of the Mobotix team. He's the regional technical manager for MEAPAC, and he will be talking about AI-powered edge analytics. Good morning. Good afternoon, actually, Justin.
Good afternoon and greetings everyone in all different parts of the world. I really hope you enjoy our webinar today. Thank you for joining.
Sounds great. So I say let's begin. I will be the first one to talk to you about advantages of integrated AI-powered BMS. So to get started, I would like to give you some facts about AxxonSoft as always. I'm sure some of you already know them. We've been on the market for 17 years. We operate globally with 50 offices worldwide and more than 550 employees. We have over 6,000 certified partners selling our products in more than 100 countries. And for so many years and so many work with our partners, we have now completed over 500,000 projects based on our solutions. So now I will share with you the capabilities of AI video analytics in our Axon Next VMS. Here we can see behavior analytics at play. The neural network determines the position of individual's body, head, and limbs, which make it possible to detect certain poses. Man-down detection can be used in workplace safety enforcement at production facilities or construction sites. An individual crouched down next to an ATM is most likely a burglar. Raised arms detection is useful at banks or stores to notify security personnel of an armed robbery in situations when the staff cannot hit the panic button. A visitor counter based on a posture detection tool can be used to control queue length. And last but not least, handrail holding detection was developed at the request of a large manufacturing company, which needed to monitor workplace safety. So you can start seeing from the first slides as already that there are very powerful analytics in play and different scenarios that previously could not be tackled with classic analytics. So we will move to the next slide, and we will focus now a bit through the presentation on object detection and counting. So if the lighting conditions or camera field of view change, or you need to detect a specific type of object, the neural network needs to be trained or refined using footage from the actual site where it will be used. Please keep this in mind always. We have, as AxxonSoft, a department that trains neural network filters to handle client-specific cases. This is because, of course, it's a resource-consuming process. When done correctly, the trained neural network should work well, even in the most challenging conditions. I'll give you a few examples of real-world tasks our clients tackled using this method. So here, for the first video gives a good overview. On the left, you see regular motion section. All moving objects are detected. I will be pausing a little bit here with the video, just to explain to you so we don't have some kind of miscommunication. So as you can see, foliage and its shadows here are highlighted on the left of this video. The screen on the right shows a neural network that detects only individuals in the scene. This is how we avoid false alarms. The next video, we will see it right now. Here, you can see that there are a lot of objects moving here. So this video is a real-world example of a specially trained neural network at a poultry farm. The difficulties here are multiple moving objects in the scene and non-standard camera positioning. Nevertheless, it accurately classifies only individuals. Access to the room on the left, you will see it here, is restricted. So whenever the person crosses the virtual line, the operator gets an alert. So another example is keeping poachers from getting into a wildlife park. In this case too, an alarm is triggered upon detecting humans, not rhinoceroses, which are the protected species, of course. So you can see it from here as well. And then we have another video recorded at the same site, but at night. You will see it right away. So the surveillance here, the conditions itself are more difficult, and there are many moving objects that would cause false positives, but the system detects only individuals. The next video, here, okay, perfect, okay. So the next video, the one here on the right, we have thermal cameras, which are, of course, a great tool for protective extensive parameters and working in difficult weather conditions. So here we see how a pre-trained neural networks detect individuals on video footage from a thermal camera. It highlights an individual, but not a vehicle. Here we see how video analytics operate at a real site with a wider angle. So when we move to the next slide, here we can have, of course, AI object detection that can be effectively used to count visitors. Here we have a non-standard field of view again, with the camera facing down. Still, the video analytics accurately detects visitors crossing the virtual line. We use this analytics to control the number of visitors within the sales floor to comply with the anti-pandemic restrictions in place. Here you can see also from the video example that the system accumulates data from all access points. Upon reaching the limit, a message appears on public displays at the entrances, prompting visitors to wait for access permission. On the video on the right, the system is counting propane tanks moving on a conveyor belt. The idea is the same as when counting visitors, only the neural network is trained to detect propane tanks. This is how we can tackle various tasks using the same standard detection tools, so line crossing in this case, but different neural networks. Now, let's talk about the monitoring parking time analytics. For this project that you can see on the video on the left, the maximum permitted parking time is 30 minutes. So the system detects a vehicle and continuously tracks it as a single object. After 30 minutes, the operator receives a notification that the permitted time has been exceeded. On the video on the right, you can see a less common example, which is a monitoring of railcar wheel set maintenance. As you see, analytics detect just wheel sets while ignoring individuals. With the use of a virtual line crossing, the system detects when the wheel sets roll onto the vibration platform and when they roll off. These events are sent to a third-party ERP software that measures the wheel's dwelling time on the platform and counts the total number of wheel sets serviced. Here, we see a neural network detecting rail cars against a moving background. The camera is mounted on a drone. On the next video, the camera is mounted at a client's industrial facility. The objective is to count the number of rail cars that pass on each track in different directions. Notice that the video analytics delivers stable results regardless of daytime or nighttime. Another uncommon example, which is a real project as well, is the goal here is to count peaks brought to the facility. There's a lot of chaotic movement, but the neural network shows very high accuracy count. So keep in mind, in general, when we talk about AI analytics, about object detection and counting, that of course there can be multiple different objects. So for example, we saw peaks. One of the latest analytics that we did is counting umbrellas. So if there are objects that you have in mind that you have a purpose for to count, you can always get a neural network filter from us and apply it with different simple video detection tools, such as line crossing, moving in an area, and etc. So just keep this in mind that there's a lot of different scenarios that you can apply those into. One of those scenarios as well is a case based on traffic monitoring in Denmark. This case allows the city of Zonderborg to control the flow of cars on the Kong Christian Expo bridge. The detection of cars ignores any other moving objects, as you can also see on the video. At the same time, we use posture detection analytics to help detect people who might want to cross the barriers placed on the bridge. In the next video, we have two examples of controlling protective gear use, such as identifying when someone isn't wearing a helmet or a high visibility vest. On a technical level, these solutions are notable because each one uses two different types of neural network at once. The first is the same as used for posture detection. So we first see and identify part of a body. So the head in the first case and the upper body in the second. The second neural network determines whether a helmet or a high visibility vest is missing in each respective scenario. This example illustrates how custom developed analytics tackle non-standard tasks for the customer. On this slide, we see smoke detection at work. This is as well a real-life video from a forest fire prevention project. We have PTZ cameras which are mounted high up on towers. They cycle between presets to detect smoke rising above the forest. The neural network was specifically trained in a similar environment to distinguish smoke from clouds, fog, and dust. There are several cameras like this. When two of them detect smoke, you can use their panning angles to accurately identify the hotspot. They can detect smoke as far as 30 kilometers and the location of the flames within a few dozen meters. That's an amazing metric when considering that you're dealing with a forest thousands of acres big. This solution has huge practical value because many regions regularly suffer from forest fires, and standard fire alarm systems, unfortunately, cannot be applied to wide open spaces. Let's change the subject a bit and turn to our forensic search features. Our smart search tools analyze the live video and creates a kind of description of all moving objects within the scene. We call it metadata. Using the system enables you to find an event of interest and to retrieve it, recorded footage of it in seconds. Here we can see, of course, some usage examples. So the first example that we see, we specify as a criteria line crossing. Within seconds, the system displays the thumbnails of relevant video episodes where an object crosses the specific line. Then we want to find the episodes when some number of objects, let's say, for example, 4 objects, are simultaneously present within the specified area. Let's see the video, of course, catching up. You can see here different examples, of course, based on color, based on other different criteria. This is one of the most biggest features of our search capabilities, that there is not only one criteria that you specify, but there are multiple criteria based on different metadata searches. So when we specify, for example, multiple objects, as we said, for example, 4, we can do a search for 4 objects at the same time. And once we click search, we will get those results. You can just click, of course, on the thumbnail and then play the video right away from the moment. So another example, of course, is if there are cases when an object leaves one area and enters another one. So in the same manner, we can search for objects of a certain color or size and other criteria. So here you just specify, for example, one area, and you can also specify from which area an object entered and from which area an object exited. So you have a lot of different criteria and a lot of different scenarios that you can play with. So to analyze the scene and generate metadata, AI detection tools like the ones shown before can be used. Thanks to them, you can, of course, search with high accuracy for certain types of objects in question, for example, people or cars. Another type of search that is especially useful in large installations, of course, is face and license plate search. Axon Next captures and recognizes human faces and vehicle number plates and stores the corresponding data. Using this data, you can quickly check a person's photo or a vehicle number. Of course, here, what I should mention, the one thing is that with vehicle numbers, it's a great thing that you don't need to remember the full number. So for example, if you're standing on the street and there's a car pass you by and you just remember only a part of the number, you can also use the part of the number to search in the archive. So this may be used on a site to pinpoint where and when a person of interest appeared and what they did in those places. This is based on the idea that both in face search and number plate search, you can actually search on multiple cameras at the same time. And this is also one of the features that is great to have in mind, and remember that you don't need to really go camera by camera, but you can search in multiple cameras at the same time. And of course, in city-wide installations, you can locate the most places that the subject visited, and of course, where they were last seen. And of course, it goes the same for the vehicle search. Another useful feature of our VMS is called time compressor. It captures all moving objects in the scene at different times and displays them in a short video clip. Using this tool, you can review hours of recorded video in just minutes. In this video, you can see that people and vehicles captured at different times are displayed simultaneously in a condensed visual scene synopsis. When you spot an object of interest, you can click to play the corresponding video fragment in full. You can also view search results from Moment Quest, Face, and Number Plane search in time compressor mode. Thanks to a combination of video analysis technologies, searching for a specific video recording becomes even easier and, of course, faster. So, of course, in the current epidemiological situation around the world, the solutions that help control compliance with sanitary restrictions have become very much in demand. AxxonSoft solutions help minimize the spread of viral infections by providing organizations with capabilities to ensure a safe and healthy environment. Axon Next supports body temperature measurement with many thermal camera models. You can set the temperature threshold and see the results of body temperature measurements superimposed on the video. The temperature values are color-coded both in real time and video footage. Automatic scenarios are triggered. I will pause here the video. So automatic scenarios for temperature measurement triggered by elevated temperature detections and can notify the security service. They can also start video recording or and deny access. The next one that we see on the video is, of course, the social distancing violation detection, which is based on the, I will bring it a bit back. So this violation, if detected, you can get an email and text notifications that can be sent to the staff in charge. All violations are recorded and can be accessed quickly in video footage via search by alarm events. And last but not least here, of course, face mask detection is based on the facial recognition tool. And of course, upon detection of people not wearing a medical mask in public areas and organizations where it is mandatory, the system sends an alarm to operators, ensuring they won't miss issues that require immediate attention. Email and text notifications may be sent to the staff in charge as well. All violations are recorded, and the event video footage is instantly searchable. You can also use real-time occupancy detection when it is required. We talked about this before. While you can combine all features with access control and audio alarms, offering additional instructions automatically when alarm is received. So for example, if you have an area as a supermarket and a customer is entering an area without a mask, you can prompt an automatic audio alarm saying that please wear a mask. And this can be done with all of the detection tools that we mentioned above. And as a last point here, I would like also to mention that AxxonSoft is a recipient of Intel's Pandemic Innovation Fund based on the solution that, of course, we just discussed. And of course, any efficient system must be based on efficient components. So for a video surveillance system, those are cameras, VMS software, server hardware, and storage. To benefit from the advantages those provide, it is essential to ensure their coordinated operation within the entire setup. Integration is the key, and we believe in that, and it's really one of the core values of AxxonSoft. It builds on the ability of VMS software to use advanced features of each component. In other words, VMS helps all components work together effectively. If we are talking about intelligent system, in particular about a system that uses AI video analytics, then an effective VMS should be able to receive metadata from smart cameras. That means that is to use the results of camera-based video analytics to reduce the server load. This way, you can increase the number of cameras that can be connected to a single server and reduce hardware costs. And of course, this system should also be able to use all computing resources available on the server, dedicated AI accelerators, CPU, and GPU capabilities. And at the same time, balance the load between all computing devices. Using accelerators enables you to process more video streams on one server as well. The use of high performance and reliable storage is essential for any video surveillance system. Storage performance is especially important with a large number of high-definition cameras and when using smart search in video footage. That is, many video streams are simultaneously recorded, and in parallel, requests are made to the video archive for data analysis. VMS-specific integration for storage is usually not required as it's supported at the operating system level. Here, the capabilities of the device itself, of course, comes to the forefront. But let's talk a little bit about the solutions that we offer with the partners who are joining us today. So first, Intel, the first presentation that you will hear right after my presentation. Here we have GPU resources utilization helps offload the server CPU. So in our product, Intel QuickSync video technology available on Intel processors is supported for hardware decoding of H.264, H.265, and H.265 plus video streams. This is used on the server side to decode video for motion detection and provides about a 2 times reduction in server CPU load compared to CPU-based decoding. This way, we free up CPU resources for other tasks, such as more sophisticated analytics that we already discussed before. Thanks to this, servers can analyze more concurrent video streams at HD resolution and even higher. And more cameras can be connected to a single server, reducing hardware expenses and support issues. Intel QuickSync can be used on the client side as well, while OpenVINO Toolkit extends AI analytics workloads across all available Intel hardware. Axon Next supports dedicated AI accelerators based on Intel Mobotix VPU. For example, if we take the Mustang V100 MX8 accelerator card, you could run up to 70 channels with posture detection analytics. More about this, of course, we will hear right after my presentation from Ediz Altun of Intel. Seagate and AxxonSoft started technological cooperation around 2+ years ago. We are conducting certification testing of product compatibility and developing powerful, reliable, and fail-safe solutions for 24/7 video surveillance needs, including, of course, AI applications. With Seagate, we can deliver scalable storage solutions for any enterprise VMS solution. Stephen Jones, joining us today, will tell you more about this later on. And of course, I would like to introduce to you our third solution partner joining us today, and this is Mobotix. Justin Hallarsis is joining us from Australia today to discuss our latest integration that was finished less than a month ago. So I'm very proud to present this today because it's really new. This has not been advertised even yet. So this is a brand new feature that we're presenting today. So of course, based on the strong demand for temperature measurement due to COVID-19, we have created an added value proposition with the M16 TR cameras from Mobotix. Our integration allows you to detect the face of the person and at the same time produce temperature measurements. This allows us to avoid any potential false alarms and provide more accurate alerts to our customer. So now I would like to take a couple of minutes to see if you have any questions, and then of course we can move to the presentations of our partners. Kate, if you could help us maybe about the questions, if there are any that we should answer right now, or if we, of course, should wait for later after all the presentations are done.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Actually, all the questions have been managed, so I think we can proceed and return to those which were not answered after.
Perfect. So then now let's move to the next presentation, of course, from Ediz Altun. Ediz, the virtual stage is yours.
Thank you so much, Kostyantyn. Perfect. Thank you so much. Thanks, Kostyantyn, for the great presentation. I think it was really enlightening, and to see the capabilities of AxxonSoft in the AI space. And today I would like to talk to you about how Intel is helping this AI journey more efficiently and less costly. Obviously, we are working with AxxonSoft very well. AxxonSoft is our strategic partner in video management space. And we are optimizing AxxonSoft software with our hardware solutions in order to provide the best experience for video management use cases. So to start with, just a little bit of context on the video analytics environment. We all could agree, I believe, that artificial intelligence usage helping the planet, helping the citizens. It increases productivity, it drives efficiency, and it lowers the cost of manufacturing and operations, and it optimizes the productivity. And most importantly, I think public safety is being enabled by video management solutions from AxxonSoft, as an example. So it is not just a business opportunity for all of us, but it is also providing better planet, better lives for all the humankind. So how Intel is helping on the AI space? Today, I would like to focus on AI part only. So the Intel has the latest and greatest CPU technology, processing technology, also integrated graphics and some of the visual processing units that I'm going to talk about. And Intel is using OpenVINO, which Kostyantyn just talked about. OpenVINO is a toolkit, software development toolkit that Intel provides for free for everyone. Everyone can just Google it and download it. OpenVINO enables AI application inferencing to run on CPUs. So you don't have to use an expensive discrete GPU card to do the inferencing. Let's say the object detection that Kostyantyn showed you, or mass detection or face recognition, whatever you want to do on the field, you can actually start with the existing processors that you might have in your servers or MEAs. So let's say you have a core processor or you have a Xeon processor, you can use OpenVINO to do all the AI tasks in the CPU. Let's say it is not enough, then you can always go to the integrated graphics that comes with it. For example, the QuickSync technology that Kostyantyn talked about, which comes with core processors, but also core processors comes with very powerful integrated graphics capability. So on top of the CPU performance, we can use the existing graphical performance unit to run the AI applications. Obviously, if it is not enough and if you need more performance for your AI applications, we have this what we call VPU. VPU is different than CPU. What we mean by VPU is that it is called Vision Processing Unit, and it is designed for visual processing only. It is designed for artificial intelligence inferencing purposes only. Since it specializes on AI applications, it really improves the performance on the artificial intelligence use cases. And with the help of OpenVINO, you can actually use a hybrid solution. You can load balance it with the CPU, GPU, and VPU at the same time. And we also have purpose-built FPGA solutions, programmable processing units for some specialized one task only AI use cases as well. So Intel is providing a wide variety of hardware solutions, starting with the CPU, integrated GPU, and VPUs. Also, I would like to talk to you about this Intel Neural Compute Stick 2, which has this VPU inside that I'm going to talk about in the next slide. You can actually test and see if the Mobotix or the VPU performance is enough for you. Once you are satisfied with it, you can go with the VPU solution in your hardware. And I'm proudly can proudly say that AxxonSoft is well equipped with all of these solutions, including the VPUs. And AxxonSoft optimized their AI algorithms using OpenVINO. So it is ready to go. If you have a project on it, AxxonSoft can immediately start working on it. So how much performance that we are talking about using OpenVINO? So this is a basic comparison of OpenVINO performance combined with the hardware improvements, obviously. And OpenVINO was introduced 2 years ago. So in 2018, whatever the cost is, I don't know, but you can get the Xeon processor at a certain price. And today, at the same price, you can get second generation Xeon processor. There is no cost increase. But the processor performance increases over time, but you don't actually pay any penny more. And the OpenVINO software performance also increases over time. We are releasing a new version every quarter. So in 2 years, without any cost associated, you get almost 26x performance gain on AI applications combined with the software and hardware improvements. So this is, I think, quite significant because you don't use any discrete GPU here, you don't use any VPU here, just the basic Xeon processors that you can use in MEAs where you run the AxxonSoft VMS. You can actually utilize the processor if there is a bandwidth to run the AI applications. And Intel is very committed to OpenVINO. And as I said, we are releasing a new version every quarter. So in the upcoming years, I'm sure that we are going to see more performance gains using OpenVINO in AI applications. So as I mentioned, the VPU technology, the Vision Processing Unit, it is going with the brand, our brand called Mobotix. So Mobotix chip is very small, very low power chip. It is actually consuming less than 3 watts of power. That's why it can fit into many small devices. And as I mentioned, this is just designed for artificial intelligence applications and visual processing workloads. Since it is so small, it can go into cameras if it is required to run AI inferencing on the camera itself. But the most common usage is utilizing Mobotix chips in an AI acceleration cards, what we call Intel HDDL cards. As Kostyantyn mentioned, in AxxonSoft running servers, AxxonSoft is able to utilize this acceleration cards, which can handle more than 1 Mobotix chips. For example, one PCI Express card can have 8 Mobotix chips inside, and AxxonSoft can utilize 4 or 5 of them, depending on the need. So let's say if you are using 5 of these cards, you can actually get 40 Mobotix chips running for your AI application, which helps you to handle more video streams, higher resolution, and more frame per second, at a more frame per second. So these acceleration cards come in PCI Express form factor, and it can go into any type of server if there is enough PCI Express slots, and it costs really, really lower than the expensive GPU solution. So in the beginning of the presentation, I said that how Intel is approaching the AI space. So our AI approach is using OpenVINO to reduce the cost on the AI hardware requirements and reduce the power requirements overall. And Mobotix is a great help doing that because we don't actually invest in a new hardware in the beginning in your capital investment. You can actually utilize existing CPU first. Once it is not enough, you can go to this lower power, lower cost solution of Mobotix VPUs. So that's all that I want to share with you today, and I really look forward to your questions, either right now or at the end of the webinar. So thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of the show.
In the meantime, I would like to say, of course, that as we discussed before, integration really is the key for the whole system to be quite effective. So you can see from the presentation of Ediz as well that we have a multiple level integration with a lot of different products from Intel. And this is what really helps us to become more effective and to give you efficient solutions that you can deliver to your customers.
Exactly. Thanks, Kostyantyn. Good point.
So if there are not any other questions at the moment, we of course can go to the questions later on for our presentation. We will continue with Stephen Jones, who is joining us from Seagate and who will be telling us how we should be rethinking our data.
Yeah, so again, good morning and good afternoon to everybody. So my name's Steve Jones. I'm Business Development Manager for Seagate. I've been at Seagate now for 4 years, although my background and experience is within the video surveillance market. So I've actually been in the video surveillance market for over 30 years. Started off in engineering and then moved into more sales and business development roles, and again moved to Seagate 4 years ago to really help drive the adoption of our products, technology, and solution portfolio specifically into the video surveillance market. So before we start, you can see on the screen here rethink data. So we have recently published a new Rethink Data report. I would encourage you, if you're interested, just to visit our website. You can actually download the report. It's available to everybody. The report was published by a company called IDC, who also published our Data Age 2025 report a couple of years ago. Both reports were sponsored by Seagate. And this particular report looks at the tremendous value that effectively data holds and how enterprises and companies and technology enterprises can basically unlock this massive potential. We also had an online event. It was our first ever Seagate DataSphere virtual event a few weeks ago. This can also be accessed on demand. So again, if you want to learn a bit more about latest innovations on mass capacity data management, you can review this on-demand virtual event again that we ran with many of our partners a few weeks ago. So let me just give you a quick background on Seagate. I'm sure many of you know or have heard of Seagate before. We're a global leader in the storage industry. We turn over close on $11 billion per year annual revenue. We've got over 40,000 employees. We ship way over sort of 400 and, well, it's got here 440. It's going to be a lot more than that over the next coming years. But Typically, we ship about 440 exabytes of storage annually. And we've also been in the industry for about 40 years. When you look at the data storage industry a few years ago, there were quite a number of storage manufacturers and technology companies. And that has been dramatically reduced for many reasons. And we're now sort of, or we believe we're really sort of leading the storage technology industry in terms of supply, technology, solutions, and again we have a real focus on the video surveillance market. And of course, as you've heard from AxxonSoft before, we have a really good and strong relationship with AxxonSoft as one of our key ISVs. So this slide just takes a look at what we call the global data sphere and the data explosion that we're going to see over the next few years. So according to IDC and that Data Age report that I mentioned before, Data Age 2025, we're looking to be creating about 175 zettabytes of data by calendar year 2025. And that's only about 5 years from now, so it's not too far away. Most of this data created is actually going to be fueled by unstructured data. However, when you look at the actual data created versus the data stored, there's going to be a fairly big gap. Just to put this in perspective, so if you look at that fact on the previous slide, you know, Seagate provides about 440 exabytes of data or storage components per year. When you take into consideration that 1,000 terabytes is 1 petabyte, 1,000 petabytes is 1 exabyte, we ship about 440 exabytes per year currently, and 1,000 exabytes is 1 zettabyte. And by 2025, there is an expected data creation within the global data sphere of 175 zettabytes. So it's a massive, massive increase. So of course, only a very small percentage of this is going to be stored. But again, this holds massive opportunities for businesses when we start to talk about cloud or edge to core solutions. And again, in this particular presentation, hopefully you'll see, you know, some of the developing technologies that the industry is seeing and is being launched, and also the relevance that these types of solutions have inside the video surveillance market. You know, it's also very important to understand the concept of what we class video dividend. You know, typically CCTV systems and video surveillance systems now are very different to what they were many, many years ago. And surveillance has really been able to utilize the technology for businesses to effectively help make money, also increase productivity, and also move away from this sort of, you know, standard siloed security technology that we've seen over many, many years. Today's theme obviously is the advantages of integrated AI-powered security systems, and this really highlights the opportunity. And this particular slide just puts some of the typical use cases that we see inside the video surveillance market. And this is more about providing, you know, insights and using, you know, very intelligent ways of bringing really important information sourced from video surveillance applications that's obviously deemed important, whether that's, you know, for example, in retail, the use of AI and video analytics is typically used to improve retail operation, and also to enhance the overall customer experience. So again, you know, we're very much moving away from security-based solutions to more insights and sort of business case inside these types of video surveillance applications and solutions. I think we can all agree, you know, the world is using data very differently, but this also presents data storage and data management challenges. Sometimes you know, we need a slightly different approach to our system design and the type of architecture that we need to provide these types of scalable solutions from a data storage perspective. So again, we're seeing this massive growth. Typically, the explosion of endpoint devices, and this is very much driven not just by video surveillance, but also IoT. The Data Age 2025 report actually puts IoT as one of the key drivers for data growth in the global data sphere over the next few years. The aggregation and orchestration of data at the edge. I know a few of the partners on today's call are going to be talking about edge, and I'll go into that in a bit more detail a bit later on. And also the ability to deploy scalable backend cloud infrastructure. I don't think this is probably the right time or the right seminar to talk about cloud, but there's definitely an opportunity for, you know, back-end cloud infrastructure with inside video surveillance. You know, again, moving away from this sort of siloed approach to making, you know, data more transportable and making it more open, and also making it more shared, so we can really get the business benefits out of the data that is produced and is also ingested by these types of you know, scalable storage solutions. So we see ourselves as an industry leader. Just to explain as well the reasons for that, we are going to talk a bit about our systems. I mean, we actually provide our scalable storage solutions to the top 5 global storage OEMs. We also provide our storage solutions to the 5 leading cloud providers or hyperscalers. So typically these are, you know, the likes of Microsoft and Google are all using our storage platforms. And also we're providing our solutions to some of the new and upcoming global technology companies. So these companies are typically engaged or providing technology within sectors like autonomous vehicles, telco, media and entertainment, so on and so forth. So we've got a really good customer base, and again, you know, we've been providing these types of solutions for many years. You know, most companies or most people will probably recognize Seagate as a device company, but you know, Seagate has changed and is changing. You know, we are a solutions-based company. We also develop software and hardware solutions, and probably something that, you know, in my experience over the last few months, most people don't understand is that we actually have a strong portfolio of storage solutions that is again very well suited for the video surveillance market. So just to give you some sort of history and just to prove the actual credibility, we've actually been providing these types of solutions now into the market for over 30 years. We've actually got over 1 million systems deployed. The technology was actually derived from acquisition. We actually acquired a company called Dot Hill back in 2015. Dot Hill were actually renowned for their controller technology. And back in 2014, we also acquired a company called Zyratex, and Zyratex were very well known for their leading role in chassis design and manufacturing. And what we've effectively done is taken like a best of breed approach, where we've taken the best technology from all these acquisitions, and also using our storage technology, built them into scalable solutions. And again, these scalable solutions, again, are probably well known, although hidden behind a lot of our OEM partners. But within the last 12 months, we've decided to now bring these into channel, now with Seagate branding, And again, these have a really good fit within inside the video surveillance market. Something that's also quite unique to us, you'll see at the bottom of the page here, we talk about vertical integration. This is the fact that we don't have any third-party source. So everything you see here, you know, chassis design, hard drive design, controller design, even down to the actual ASIC is our own design and manufacture. So we don't use any third-party sources, which again I think is quite unique to these types of solutions. Of course, we're known for hard drives. That's our core business. And within the video surveillance market, we have a complete portfolio of devices. Again, devices optimized for video surveillance and for mainstream video surveillance applications. So we have our Skyhawk and Skyhawk AI. Skyhawk AI, you know, has now been on the market now for a few years, and this was specifically brought out as a product to enhance and support NVRs and appliances that were also going to drive AI type applications. But as we start to scale and as we start to move, you know, to more server-based or mass storage requirements, our architecture and our solutions start to change. So we move again more away from device and become more solutions driven. And the need for, you know, modular storage enclosures, hybrid arrays, and mass capacity storage platforms really starts to come into its own. And also, we see that most of these systems are typically coupled into an application that also demands, you know, a VMS type platform like, you know, like AxxonSoft. This slide just gives you a quick overview of our different mass capacity storage solutions. So we have standard JBOD. JBOD, it's just, you know, it stands for just a bunch of disks, not a lot of technology in here. So this basically is enterprise class storage with SAS connectivity. So this typically connects directly to a server to give additional storage directly to that server. And you can see here with that sort of mid-range example where you've got systems maybe just below 500 cameras. You know, this is a potential good fit. As we start to move up and we start to get into, you know, multiple hundreds of cameras or potentially over 1,000 cameras, where you also need maybe longer term retention, the need for, you know, potentially SAN type solutions really comes into its own. And also at the bottom, cloud solutions. I mean, again, I think cloud is going to be a really big opportunity for video surveillance moving forward over the next few years. And again, it's important to highlight that we're very much based on this sort of ecosystem strategy where we really engage with a lot of ecosystem and technology partners to effectively couple software and hardware together to actually provide an overall end-to-end solution for either a specific market or for a specific customer base or for a specific, you know, application. So again, we're very much you know, a scalable organization, and we also understand the importance of you know, partnerships within this ecosystem environment. So again, just looking at, you know, consideration when it comes to storage, we understand, you know, within the video surveillance market, yes, there's a need for, you know, single NVRs. There's also a need for single appliances. Most appliances that we see or typical architecture within inside video surveillance is traditionally, you know, appliance and storage within inside the same physical box. But I think considerations as we start to increase camera numbers and as we start to increase the demand for longer retention periods, there's a requirement to scale easily or scale as you need. Also, single appliances or single NVRs also unfortunately provide that single point of failure. And also from a performance, as you increase capacity or as you start to introduce maybe AI or video intelligence, you know, workload increases, and of course your performance needs to scale accordingly. And again, it all comes down to you know, to dollars per terabyte or dollars per petabyte, depending on how you look at it. So delivering a lower total cost of ownership is obviously really key. I was going to spend quite a bit of time on this, but I think I'm actually running out of time. So I'll be as quick as possible. This really gives you an overview of how we see scalable architecture within inside the video surveillance market. I understand our solutions, or these types of solutions, or this type of technology doesn't suit every single application. But as systems start to scale, and as we start to see an increase in camera numbers, or there's a requirement for better management, or there's a need to avoid, you know, single point of failure, we typically see, you know, a big advantage to decoupling your compute away from your storage. And this is where sort of SAN or storage area network solutions really come into their own. So effectively, you're having your compute in a separate server or multiple servers. I typically know the terminology, you know, recording servers. That's what I see within most VMS environments. So you would have a number of video servers or recording servers that are providing your compute, and then effectively you create a SAN, and that SAN will manage all your video data from a centralized point. And this also provides many advantages in this type of scalable solution. You'll see here just on the right hand side of our SAN storage, 5.5 gigabytes per second throughput. So this is what we can actually sustain on our mid-range controller. So again, we've got this vertical integration. We own all the technology, the complete stack. You know, we have our own ASIC design and so on. So what that 5.5 gigabytes actually means to the video surveillance market, and I'll give you an example. A few weeks ago, we actually conducted a test at our Singapore design center, where we actually tested and streamed over 1,000 4K cameras into one of our single 5U84 SAN units. And these units here under the SAN storage are our 5U84. So basically, it's a 5U chassis, 84 bay, so it can have 84 drives, a combination of both SSD and HDD, but typically HDD only. And we were able to stream just over 1,000 4K cameras, each running at about 7 megabits per second. And we were only using about 70% of the controller utilization. Also, what you also typically get with SAN is you get complete redundancy. So the controllers are active, and also completely redundant. We also have redundant power supplies. There's a management interface, health monitoring, and so on. But again, you know, these solutions don't suit every single application, but certainly where applications and demand for scalability, additional technology, and better management or longer retention periods, this is where these sort of SAN type solutions really come into their own. So within SAN, we also provide what we class as our competitive edge. Now, you know, this is a why. I know this is very much a why Seagate, and I'm not trying to really sort of push home the product. I'm just pushing home the fact that with SAN type solutions, you get a lot of added functionality and enhanced feature set. So for marketing purposes, we sort of wrap this in our SAFE strategy. So S is for streaming, A is adapt, F is first to market, E is encryption. So very quickly, we have a streaming technology called RealStream. What this effectively does, it dramatically increases throughput of bandwidth intensive applications like video surveillance. So it's just a very efficient way of ingesting huge amounts of data caching that data, and then writing that data to our own storage technology. And again, that's one of the reasons why we have this ability from the throughput standpoint to handle, potentially thousands of HD cameras. Adapt is, again, it's a Seagate feature, a unique feature. It's an erasure coding technology. And what it effectively delivers is it increases the rebuild time compared to traditional RAID. Most systems that we see in video surveillance are deployed either RAID 5 or RAID 6, which is fine. The challenge we have as a storage manufacturer, though, is that everybody knows that HDDs are increasing in capacity. We today have 18 TB in a single drive. Next year, you're going to be seeing 20 plus terabytes. And over the next few years, you'll be seeing 30, 40, 50 terabytes and above in single drives. The problem with that is when they do fail, and unfortunately now and again drives do fail, when they do fail, that rebuild time is increased as the capacity increases. And what our adapt erasure coding technology does is basically we distribute the parity across every drive in our storage pool. And what it provides is a self-healing process to actually rebuild the drive in a very quick and efficient manner. And typically compared to RAID 5 or RAID 6, you can actually build up to 95% faster than that traditional RAID deployment. So again, it provides a lot less downtime and also an overall lower, total cost of ownership. The first to market piece is the fact that we obviously, because we own the technology and we own the product set and we own that vertical integration, we of course will bring our technology first to market in our branded solutions before we bring them out in our OEM partner solutions. And encryption, which I think is a really important subject for video surveillance market, is the fact that we provide self-encrypting drives. And these self-encrypting drives actually protect data at rest. They reduce IT drive retirement costs. And we also have a feature set called Instant Secure Erase. Now, what Instant Secure Erase basically delivers, it renders all data on the hard drive unreadable in just a few seconds via a cryptographic erase of the data encryption key. So basically on an SED drive, you have an encryption key that is effectively part of the hardware build. And when customers want to either return, reuse, or dispose individual drives, you can effectively deploy this command, and through that command, you can effectively erase all the data on that drive. But again, this is providing, secure storage through encryption and also supporting data at rest protection. A quick slide just to look at sort of next trends. We do actually have a new solution that we've recently launched called Cortex. And Cortex is effectively a object store infrastructure solution. So Cortex itself is actually an open source software stack. And we also have a number of live drive portfolio solutions that provide object storage infrastructure for leading edge type applications like artificial intelligence and big data. And again, this is very much where we see the video surveillance market going, where we can potentially deploy solutions that, yes, you can record at edge, but you'll also have that possibility and functionality to actually transport and migrate some of that data, or not, if not all of that data, to some form of, maybe on-premise private cloud environment. And this is really where Cortex and our live drive portfolio really really hits home. But again, this is all about providing solutions that really address the new key trends that we're seeing inside the video surveillance market, and also the general data storage and data management industry. And just to close, a critical success factor again in providing these types of solutions is always partnerships. And we've always had a strong ecosystem of technology and software partners, where together we provide scalable, secure, high density solutions to power the global data sphere. And on that note, I'll say thank you, and if there's any questions, please go ahead and use the Q&A portal. Thank you.
There's already one question I can tell you now. Basically, a participant is asking if Seagate has implemented any project in Egypt, and if you have any local distributors or SIs.
Okay. Well, I don't know the specific answer to that question. What I can say is we distribute our products globally through authorized distributors. I'm sure we will supply, or we do supply Egypt. What I'll do is I'll take that offline, and I'll find you the right contact within Seagate that can address that question directly, if that's okay.
Perfect.
No problem.
Sounds good. So I just wanted to say that one of the main points of the integration with Seagate is that we conduct a certification testing of product compatibility. And because of this, we can always deliver solutions together that are powerful and efficient. And again, I will not stop saying this, integration is the key. And I think the partners who are here today with us on the webinar really do provide this aspect and represent this aspect. So perfect. So I think we will move with the Mobotix part. So I would like to invite Justin to our virtual stage and to tell us more about the solutions that we have together.
All right, greetings everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. My name is Justin Hallarsis. I am the Regional Technical Manager of MEAPAC, and today I'd like to talk to you about some AI-powered edge analytics. So first, I'd like to introduce Mobotix as a company. So Mobotix is a company with over 21 years of experience, with over 400 specialists located over 7 offices worldwide. We are a company specialized on decentralized IP CCTV products with edge-based analytics with a forefront in cybersecurity. All of our core products are completely made in Germany, manufactured with no batch testing involved. So every single camera that leaves our factory over in Langmile is actually tested. This allows us to retain an RMA failure rate of less than 1% across all products sold globally. Mobotix products in general will have an 80,000 hour mean time before failure rate. This means an average lifetime expectancy of about 9.5 years, with an industry-leading optional 8-year warranty. Mobotix has a myriad of industry firsts. These include things like the decentralized system architecture, integrated storage, dual thermal technology, and IoT-ready products, among many, many more. If we take a look at the market, according to the IHS market researchers, we can see that over $18 billion of CCTV security products were sold within the year of 2018. That's over 8.6% growth over the previous year. If we have a look at which segments these sales were made, we can see that there is a distinction here between network cameras, thermal cameras, video analytics, as well as deep learning servers. We can see that one of the greatest growths here is in fact with video analytics and deep learning. So let's take a look at the trends that we may see over the next 5 years from 2018 to 2023, according to the IHS market. From here, we can see that new markets for network cameras will start to develop. From here, there will be a forefront expertise in cybersecurity, There will also be more integration and development in regards to AI and deep learning, and of course, being able to provide a lot of these technologies directly at the edge. So, how is Mobotix geared towards these upcoming trends? This is where I'd like to take you through some of our key selling points. Firstly, we have a decentralized architecture across all Mobotix core IoT products. In a conventional system architecture, there is a centralized server or VMS, and in this, all the cameras simply act as eyes for the system, with the brain being the server itself. Of course, if something were to happen to the server in these instances, the cameras will actually no longer have the ability to think for themselves, and they will simply stop processing, as they no longer have a brain to report to. In the decentralized architecture, every single one of your cameras in a Mobotix system is its own server. Each camera is responsible for its own events, recording and storage, as well as event processing, all done completely at the edge without additional hardware. This enforces no single point of failure being present within your system. Now, taking a look at the decentralized architecture. With this, we additionally have an MXFFS buffered archive. This means that with all storage made on a Mobotix camera, there is actually a buffered archive available directly on board the camera system itself. This means that in the event of a loss of connection to a storage device, there will always be allocated storage dedicated on board the camera to maintain those recordings. So in the event of a lost connection to a storage server, the cameras will still continue recording directly to their onboard storage, whether that's the onboard storage that is allocated in the 256 meg flash or to the onboard SD card. Because we use our own storage architecture, this also means that there is virtually no limitation on what storage devices can be used with these products. We can utilize something between a 400 gigabyte to a 1 terabyte SD card, or even a single hard drive at 18 terabyte or an array of a larger volume as part of a larger network attached storage system. Again, this enhances that with every single one of your cameras, you may have a successful recovery from any storage downtime without having a single frame lost. For the industry, Mobotix have also developed the MEAPAC security codec. This is a smart video codec that prioritizes on delivering high quality images in every single frame. This is a video codec based simply on the MJPEG video codec, in saying that it only focuses on providing I or intra-coded frames to provide you clear, crisp, full images in every single frame. On top of this, whenever this data is transmitted over a network, it is actually cut into segments, just like every other standard IT and networking component out there in the industry. And this data is sent and received using a true TCP/IP handshake. Again, taking advantage of the Mobotix buffered archive directly available on the camera. When this is compared to a standard algorithm like H.264, H.264 has a great allocation for storage and bandwidth, but they do this by prioritizing less I or intra-coded frames within its codec and instead filling these with predictive frames. This is in fact used to maintain a higher average frame rate. Whereas with MEAPAC, because we only provide full quality images utilizing iframes, this means you will have a clear, concise image in every single frame. If we take a look at conventional video motion, it is not enough to identify objects and to monitor areas with using standard video motion. As we all know, standard video motion relies on changing pixels within a scene. Now, these changing pixels are not generally classified as objects, but are simply a change of color. Obviously, when used in outdoor environments that can be caused by environmental factors or vegetation, this may cause a lot of false positives. For this, Mobotix have actually developed the MX activity sensor algorithm. With this algorithm, it actually looks for pixels and neighboring pixels around it, moving a minimum distance to actually classify them as objects. This allows Mobotix cameras to be installed in many outdoor applications and mitigating many false alarms from factors such as snow, heavy rain, and other idle moving objects, even including vegetation. Thermal technology is one of the forefronts of the Mobotix technology portfolio in today's environment. Thermal technology was something that was initially brought onto the Mobotix portfolio to actually assist with perimeter detection. This actually came in mind because initially there was no moving parts in any of the Mobotix cameras sold. So in this, we had no IR cup filter, and so we needed to address this with a thermal camera. With these thermal cameras, we were able to rely on perimeter detection for up to 200 to 250 meters for individuals. This was something that was largely seen deployed across solar farms for perimeter detection. Expanding from this, we then started to find other verticals and uses for thermal technology. These uses involve things like the monitoring of machinery. So if the machinery was known to only operate at a certain temperature, we could then trigger an alarm if that temperature were to go above a certain threshold. Same could be said for objects such as solar panels. If solar panels were emitting a lower heat than intended, it would show that that panel was not absorbing heat correctly. And finally, this expands also into waste management, allowing us to then also configure alarms and thresholds for not only rapid rise of heat, but early warning fire prevention systems. And of course, along today's environment with elevated body temperatures, we are able to identify individuals that may have an abnormal or higher temperature rate. So to take a look at this even further, let's talk about this a little bit with the thermal basics. But first, to do this, we need to have a basic understanding on thermal emissivity. So if we look at thermal emissivity at its base form, you have your thermal sensor looking at an object. Each object actually has its own radiation of thermal radiation. This radiation is read back into the camera, and this is what is known as object emissivity. Object emissivity is something that can be influenced directly based on the surface material of the object, and of course, the distance of the object from the thermal sensor. Then we have atmospheric transmission. Atmospheric transmission is the direct influence of particles in the air between the thermal sensor and the object. These include things like humidity, so water, and carbon dioxide. So in turn, obviously, this would mean that the further away your object is from the thermal sensor, the more drop-off that is going to be expected with the thermal reading. If we take a look at the Mobotix solution in its base form when being used for body temperatures, there are three main areas that we try to focus on when measuring temperatures. The first and foremost, most accurate location that you can measure on a person is the medial canthus. Now, the medial canthus is actually the corner of your eye closest towards your nose, and that is going to be the most successful representation of body temperature externally that can be obtained without physical contact. Secondary to this, we may rely on the T-zone, which generally relies around a person's nose and their mouth. However, this will provide a even lesser accuracy of measured temperatures. Tertiary to both of these is, of course, forehead temperature detection. However, again, this is even less accurate. So let's take a look at the ideal conditions. So as previously mentioned, having less distance will equal more accuracy. But of course, taking these environmental factors and atmospheric transmission into mind, this means that generally this is something that can only be installed in indoor applications. It also means that due to external factors, we would not generally recommend these type of solutions to be deployed at entry or exit points. Additionally, because of the way the thermal sensor is configured, it will generally only try to detect the highest temperature within a zone. This means that in general, you would only be able to focus this on one individual at a time, and it will not be possible to focus on multiple individuals without drawing multiple windows, which of course can be quite difficult if we cannot maintain or control the laneway of where individuals will pass through the screening. So let's take a look at how this would be configured. So in general, you have a field of view to your target subject. This is going to be ideally within that 1.5 to 1.8 meter mark. From here, a detection area is drawn. Within this detection area, we can then specify if any temperature down to a single pixel or a percentage of pixels, these are completely configurable. We can say that if a temperature goes higher or below a certain threshold, we can then do something with it. So if we say that the average human body is roughly around 37 degrees Celsius, again, Taking in mind atmospheric transmission and the distance to target, this may be read by the camera by 36.2 degrees Celsius. At this point, we can trigger an alarm in the camera to say if something is 37.2 degrees Celsius or above, we can then trigger an alarm. Of course, with objects like coffee mugs and other things in the background, there is no way to actually limit the detection area of this zone because there is no object recognition being used in this case. So this means that idle objects such as coffee and other things in the background can actually effectively trigger a false positive. However, with our integration with AxxonSoft, we have actually found a way to prioritize the detection of the medial canthus while also identifying that a person is within the field. And this is being used directly within the AxxonSoft software. So now what effectively happens here is that the Mobotix camera's thermal technology is used to look for persons with high temperatures. This is with a dual head image camera, such as the M16 or the M73. In these cases, these dual image cameras will be using one image for thermal and one image for a color optical image. The AxxonSoft software in this case will look at the optical image to help identify and detect faces, and using this data and where they locate the eyes and the medial canthus, they can then pull the temperature data from the thermal roll data that sits in the back of the thermal stream and actually accurately display this as part of the AxxonSoft interface. In addition to this, this allows AxxonSoft to actually provide a comprehensive list of individuals with abnormally high temperatures recorded within the system. Of course, this is something that can, again, be deployed across multiple cameras within one site, and AxxonSoft great software gives us a way to centralize all this into one singular location. For more questions on the EBT solutions, please get in contact directly with us here at Mobotix and AxxonSoft. Now, in addition, with our new 7 Series camera platform, we have developed a way for developers to run their own applications directly on the 7 Series camera platform. This provides full resource access and access to the Mobotix event handling, very similar to what AxxonSoft have already implemented. In this case, it actually allows developers to have their own sandbox and dedicated space on board our camera platforms, which means all these analytics such as face detection, license plate recognition, and object detection can all be implemented directly at the edge on board the 7 Series camera platform. This allows our developers to develop the software that you want, completely up to your imagination. And all the analytics that you know and love with AxxonSoft in the very near future can also be integrated directly on board the 7 Series camera platform with the release and unlock of our FPGA processor very soon next year. So look out for this. Of course, with this comes the question of cybersecurity. With cybersecurity and all of these apps, of course, every single app and all of our products themselves are subject to tests for cybersecurity. This means that we run routine penetration testing and also accreditations to maintain this level of security. We are a leader in GDPR in this space, and of course, it maintains our core DNA structure. Some of these accreditations include tests run by CIFs, who actually provide penetration tests on all products, as well as any certified apps that will be provided on the Mobotix 7 platform, as well as a certified CMTP cyber terrorism certification issued from France. In addition, the Secure by Default certification issued by the Minister of Defense from the UK. In closing, the Mobotix portfolio is divided into 3 sections. We have the MX6 IoT camera platform, which utilize 6 megapixel camera technology in both single lens and dual lens camera platforms, available in color, black and white, and thermal technologies. These cameras take advantage of the MXPEG video codec, MX activity sensor, and of course expandable using any of our available interface boards to add things like GPS inputs and of course outputs as well as audio. Then we have our Mobotix Move camera platform, which consists of your stock standard domes, bullets, and PDZs. In addition to this, we have our great new 7 Series platform, which now have released the new M73 camera platform, as well as the S74 camera platform. These platforms allow you to install cameras at a 4K resolution running the highest frame rates available with MXPEG, H.264, as well as H.265, hardware WDR at 120 dB, and also enforce an open app concept, allowing us to eventually deliver more edge analytics directly at the edge. And with that, I would like to close off my presentation. If you have any further questions on this, please feel free to get in touch with us directly here at Mobotix and at AxxonSoft. Thank you.
Super. Thank you very much, Justin. First of all, I would like to say again, thank you for being with us today. And it was very nice to present today such a unique, brand new solution that we are offering with Mobotix. And that's been, a great addition to today's presentation as well. So now on your screen, you will be able to see actually all the presentation topics and all the names of the presenters from today. First of all, I would like to thank everybody for joining today, all our partners joining us today. If you want to speak with us directly, you can always find us on LinkedIn. You can, of course, get in touch with us via email as well. So please just let us know what what would you like to see. And Justin, we have a question about the origin of Mobotix cameras. If you can tell us about this.
Yes, all of the core Mobotix IoT cameras are completely manufactured right there in Germany. The only exception with this is the Mobotix Move product line, which we source externally, not actually through China or anything like that, just to make that clear. But all core Mobotix cameras are, of course, completely manufactured in Germany.
Perfect. Sounds good. I think we answered that question now. Perfect. Well, I don't see any questions at the moment. Just to move to the closing statements, basically, of the presentation. And what I would like to hear is one point that you believe that the participants of today's webinar should take away from today. So I'll start, of course, and I just want our customers and our partners to remember that today, with advantages of the integrated AI-powered VMS, what is the real option there is that we can solve problems that were not able to solve before with classical analytics. So please, if you have an idea, if you have a problem, if your customer has a problem, and that you cannot solve with simple motion detections or line crossing, just get in touch with us and we can discuss the possibilities that AI can bring to you and to your customers to solve the issues at hand. So next, Ediz, I would like to get 1 point from you, from your presentation, what the customers should remember today. What should be the takeaway?
Sure. Thank you so much, Kostyantyn. First of all, thanks everyone to join this webinar, and thanks AxxonSoft for organizing and inviting us, and thanks for the other presentations by Seagate and Mobotix. It was really enlightening. What I would like to say at the end was is Intel is really trying to reduce the cost of AI for your applications and reduce the power requirement. So if you have any questions how it is being done together with AxxonSoft, please get in touch with us. We are happy to walk through how you can reduce your overall cost in the AI applications. With that, again, thanks so much, and have a nice day, evening, wherever you are.
Thank you very much. Stephen?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so thanks everybody for joining. Thanks for all the presenters. Really great event. Key takeaway for me, I think, listening to everybody today is definitely partnerships. I think partnerships is key. Being part of an ecosystem to provide a technology that glues into, other leading technologies to provide a complete, end-to-end solution, with this best-of-breed approach, I think is a real key takeaway. And from our side, the fact that, Seagate has definitely moved and pivoted away from being known as a device manufacturer more into a solutions company. And again, any help or any further information that's needed, please feel free to reach out to me directly. Thank you.
Great. And Justin.
Hello, everyone. And again, thank you so much for coming to our webinar here today. A very special thank you to AxxonSoft for bringing us in here today. Another thank you to our fellow panelists, of course, from Intel and Seagate. I guess the core takeaway from here for us is we're looking at the upcoming technologies and trends that are upcoming in the next few years within our industries. And of course, this is something where IoT products as well as cyber secure products are becoming the forefront of our industry and technologies. So from here, we of course would like to develop many, many more integrations with key providers, just like AxxonSoft, so that we can provide more solutions directly at the edge. And of course, we can do much more to collaborate. Thank you.
Perfect. So as a takeaway from all presentations, I think the main point is integration is really the key. I think with such powerful partners, with the integrations that have been done with the partners that we had today here, you can deliver very powerful and effective solutions and systems to your customers. Please, of course, keep us in mind. Please contact us anywhere that is possible, LinkedIn, emails. You will, of course, have a follow-up email afterwards about everything that you've seen today. The webinar will go online on our YouTube channel in a few hours. Thank you very much. Have a great day, great afternoon to everybody who's joined us today from so many countries. And thank you for spending the past 1.5 hours with us. Thank you.